I will be going over in this video everything you need to know about a flat roof if you're a beginner, if you don't know much yet, all those kinds of things. So this will be a great crash course if you're new to flat roofs. So I hope you learned something and enjoy the video. What's up guys, my name is Zane Rodriguez. I am a commercial and multifamily roofer out here in the beautiful state of Florida, specifically in the Orlando area. So first off, like I said, this is a flat roof, right? So flat roofs can be commercial or multifamily or anything, right? Flat roofs is just a category of roof, right? So commercial can be a pitched shingle roof. Commercial can also be a flat roof. And then same goes with residential, right? So if you're a residential guy, this video is for you as well. If you're looking to get more into the commercial side, or if you just have houses around you that are flat roofs, then that's a great option for you. So usually in the residential side, you'll see that the flat roofs are the nicer houses, the more modern, sleek looks in the big neighborhoods, or neighborhoods with big houses, should I say. And so to start off, really what you're seeing here is I'm on a flat roof. The top white layer here that you're seeing is called a membrane. Now membranes come in all kinds of materials. So this one that you're seeing here is called TPO. This is very common in the southern states, does well in the heat. It's white, it's reflective, keeps the sun off, keeps your building cooler. TPO is just a great option. It'll last you about 25 years if you take care of it well. And yeah, it's a good option. It is kind of in the middle range as far as what you'll get with pricing. Another kind of membrane that you'll usually see is called modified bitumen. That is the granular kind of texture. That is good as well, usually on the lower end of the spectrum. And then up top, what you'll see for flat roofs is called PVC or metal roofs. So PVC is a good amount more expensive and you don't see it that much. It does very good in the heat. It lasts longer, all those kinds of things. And for those reasons, it just is more expensive, right? There is also called EPDM. EPDM isn't used very much because it's kind of, there's just better products now. And if somebody wants a cheap roof, they could go with EPDM, but it's just quite weak, honestly, in my opinion. And if you want to invest in your roof, make it last a long time, doesn't do great. EPDM is very dark, so it's black, tracks the sun, does not reflect the sun, it absorbs it, makes your building hotter, all those kinds of things. To work on a EPDM roof is very hot, not fun for roofers. So that is why we also prefer TPO, because when we get on here and do work, it is not going to be as hot, right? And then another kind of flat roof that you can see is metal roofing. So really, metal roofing isn't considered flat, it's just considered metal, but it can be laid out flat on a roof. I know it's confusing, but really, metal roofing is going to last you like 50 years, so that kind of stuff is a great investment, but it is very expensive. One last thing as far as membranes, you can look up as far as if you want to know how long they last, each one. I can put a chart here to the side so you can see how long they usually last. TPO, Modbid, PVC, EPDM, all those will be listed here so you can see how long they usually last. So membrane, just think of it as your skin on your body, right? So you have your skin and then you have your flesh and then you have your bone. I know I don't want to be graphic, but it's a good example. So the membrane of the roof is going to be your skin. So sometimes under the membrane, you'll have what is called cover board. So cover board will go under the membrane and above the ISO board, which is, it's kind of like a harder texture, similar to ISO board, but it is more sturdy so that it serves as an even better protective barrier, keeps you from leaks, that kind of thing. The flesh is going to be the insulation of the roof, which would be like the ISO board, which is going to be those square, dense, foamy boards that help keep your roof insulated, also serve as an extra layer of protection, just like your actual, flesh helps keep you insulated, keeps you warm, serves as a layer of protection. And then the bottom, which would be the decking, usually on flat roofs you're going to see metal decking, and that is going to be the same as your bone. That is the most difficult part to penetrate. It is the last layer of protection, and it usually lasts the whole time, right? So you usually never have to replace decking for a very, very, very long time, especially if it's metal. You'll be good to go. I did want to touch on that as far as membranes and the actual layers of the roof, because there's a good amount to see on the top, but if you aren't aware of what is under the actual system and the layers of it and how it works, it's just going to be a bit confusing for you. So wanted to quickly run through that, and now we can really go through all of the gadgets and parts and all that fun stuff. So as far as the actual parts of the roof, right? So what are you looking at here? So in this image, what you're seeing is the entire field of the roof is what you call it. The field is the main portion wide open. It's the bulk of the roof. Right here, this is an HVAC unit. These usually aren't your responsibility all the time as a roofer, but you will be dealing with them. If you do a replacement, you're going to have to either take those off and make sure that they get back on properly, so you have to know how to deal with them. And then also these white or these dark lines kind of running across the roof here, those are going to be your seams. So where the membrane meets one another and kind of overlaps like this, it's heat welded so that it's tight and doesn't come apart, essentially so no water gets in the roof. And then here what you'll see is a vent. So a vent is used to get all of the heat, gas, moisture, fumes out of the building. Alright, so now you're seeing a little bit more of the roof. These right here are called gooseneck vents. As you can see, kind of looks like a gooseneck. The bigger vents that you'll see, the circular ones, are usually used to get gases. If you have a kitchen, any kind of animal fat or oil, that kind of stuff that's in the air will get pushed out through those. And it's also important to take care of the roof when they are around those, because if you don't, then the membrane will not last as long because they will be getting eaten up by all that animal fat, right? And then over here, these walls are called parapet walls. So parapet walls are mainly used for aesthetics, because if you have a flat roof, you don't want it to just be completely the flat roof and then it just goes off the edge, because if you have guys on here, it's also used for safety so that they don't fall off, and it gives it a more, industrial modern look, right? And this here is just some architectural extra stuff that's not really roofing. But on the top here, see these the edging metal here, and then also on the parapet wall going across, that's called coping cap. Coping cap is used on top of any parapets to essentially lock everything in, make sure that no moisture gets through. So usually what you'll see on commercial roofs, let's say that my knuckle here is a parapet wall, right? So the membrane will kind of fold over to give it a watertight seal, and then the coping cap goes on top of that to lock everything in, make sure no water gets in, and so that you don't have any leaks, obviously, because we're roofers. We don't want to give you leaks. All these black pipes running along the roof are connected to the HVAC units. So the HVAC units essentially create liquid that needs to get pumped off the roof, because you don't want liquid on your roof. The pipes here lead the liquid where it needs to go. In this case, it's going all the way to that overflow drain at the end. The overflow drains are different than a regular drain. This particular roof does not have a sumped drain like the ones that you'll just see sitting in the middle of the roof, because this entire roof is actually a tapered system. So if you see, it goes, the parapet wall, it starts shorter and then it gets longer and taller and taller and taller as we go. That's because the roof is actually like pitched like this. It's at an angle. Tapered is what you should call it. So it's a tapered system that leads the water off of the roof. And the ISO board is going to be essentially getting thick over there and then thinner and thinner and thinner as we go, to help the water get off the roof, right? So imagine like a ramp, right? That's all it is. It's just the water getting led down a ramp so that it doesn't just stay on a flat surface. Now, speaking of ramps, I have here a cricket. So you can't really tell all that well, but if you can look closely, starting about right here, the angle starts to go downwards here and then also downwards that way. So this cricket essentially is leading any water that flows down this way. It leads the water on this side to that overflow drain, and the water on this side to that overflow drain. So obviously, guys, like roofing, it's really simple. It's get the water off the roof, make sure it stays good, right? So that's all that's doing. It's just getting the water off of the roof to the right place, and that cricket is also created by those ISO board that I was talking about under the membrane. So it goes your membrane and then it's your ISO board. That ISO board is specifically tapered, like I said before, to get the water to go that direction and the other direction as well. So this right here, as you may know, is a ladder. A ladder is actually the main cause of death among roofers. Ladder-related injuries is the main cause of injuries because people fall, they're not careful, they're too cocky, all that kind of stuff. So please do be careful. I know it's really simple, it's a ladder, but you would be surprised how often these guys get hurt. Way over there, right there, that is a roof hatch. That is how I got onto this roof. Essentially, it kind of serves as a door that's locked and sealed that you can get onto the roof, get down from the roof. For flat commercial roofs, what you'll usually see is they have those, because in a tall building, they don't want to have a 60-foot ladder to get to the top of the roof. You just go in through the inside, right? Yeah, I mean, if you're dealing with like one-story buildings, then yeah, obviously they're going to have a ladder. They're not going to spend money on a roof hatch. These bad boys are called walk pads. Essentially, at the HVAC unit here, there's going to be a mechanic that brings his toolbox with wrenches and screws and all that kind of stuff. So it's to protect from any foot traffic as well as any external elements or objects that may fall onto it, so it doesn't penetrate the membrane. Not sure if you can see it, so I'll pick it up. But this is a screw that I could have stepped on and caused the penetration into the membrane, right? Caused the leak. So that's why those are there, because some dude forgot to pick that up. So these over here are going to be your overflow drains. Technically, there really won't be any overflow on this roof because it's tapered, so it's all going to go to the right place anyways. But if I put my phone over here, the edge, you can see that is a scupper, and it's catching all the water coming off the roof. These are more drainage pipes here. The little black pieces holding them up are just going to be called pipe support. Comes in all kind of shapes and sizes, but if there is something holding up a pipe, you can just call it pipe support. Sometimes it's cinder blocks, sometimes it's those, fancy, specifically manufactured pieces for those. But for the most part, yeah. Now, usually this won't look like this, but you can see where this wall kind of stops here. That's called an expansion joint. So on the other side of this wall is the other side of the roof. This whole portion of the roof of this building was extended, right? So to extend this roof, they had to create a part of the wall that is going to connect to one another. So right here is where these two buildings meet. This metal bar right here going across, that's termination bar. That is making sure that the membrane on the wall, going up the wall, creates a watertight seal so no water can get in there. And then up here is just another parapet wall. These little 90-degree seals here are called flashing. These create a watertight seam so no water can get in the penetration. On pitched shingle roofs, you'll usually see them used with metal. These little bottom pieces right here, you'll see these on pipes or vents and whatnot. So you can see it here. This is called a boot. So these little ridges, essentially, whichever one best fits the actual pipe or vent, whatever it's on, is going to be used. They squeeze it down to the bottom, and then they seal it around the edges, seal it with any kind of silicone here. And that also creates a watertight seal so that you don't have leaks or anything like that. Alrighty guys, that just about sums everything up. Not exactly sure what happened to the outro video, so I'm doing that now for you. Again, this was just a quick crash course on flat roofing. If you're new to it, if you want to learn more, I hope you did learn something. You should have, hopefully. If you think I forgot anything, or if you wanted to ask any questions, please feel free, drop those in the comments. I'd love to chat back and forth with you guys. I'm here to help. Again, my name is Zane Rodriguez. If you guys are willing, please share and like this video. It would be a big help to me, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.